Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom in 2012. So yes, finally back with another Wes Anderson review. And this guy, of course, before this, seeing this film here, which is on Blu-ray, I'd seen, of course, Royal Tenenbaums and the Grand Budapest Hotel. I'd seen that twice now. Seen Royal once before, which was last year as well. And yes, of course, the only one I've reviewed is the Grand Budapest Hotel. And now here we are, a year later, 2019, to review this film here. I do have access to some of these films. They're not mine, they're my brother's. But yes, here are the other ones, of course. Yes, Isle of Dogs, have here on Blu-ray, and of course, Royal Tenenbaums, Criterion. So yes, I will be getting access to more of them soon as well. So of course, I'll be reviewing, all of his films, roughly, 9 now that he's made. Cannot wait to dig into the rest of his films. They're pretty much all very, very acclaimed, in some ways. And yes, this film is one of the ones I look forward to the most, I must say. Just judging by what it's about, and just what people have said about the film. Really, really look forward to this one here. It's a coming of age film set in 1965, roughly, about these two 12-year-olds who basically, and it's an island, communities and stuff, off the coast of New England. This is set, and this boy and girl, basically, it's a love story about them. They've run away, of course, and yes, there are search parties set out over the course of the film. Big cast once again, of course, and this time you actually have Bruce Willis in the film, who's one of my, among my favourite actors. I love seeing, Bruce Willis in films. It's always great to see, especially, kind of now, because, a lot of his best work, of course, was last century or early 2000s and stuff. And of course, he sometimes he's not in too much things. It's great to see when he is, because he's a great actor in any sort of genre. It's just great, and he was great here. Of course, he plays the local sheriff basically, and just a wonderfully warm character here. But yes, you've got these two young kids who run away, and it's a love story. It's an adventure film, and of course, as always with Wes Anderson, it's a comedy, and very particular comedy. But yes, I looked forward to this film, of course, massively, and yes, this even then, even though I had very, very high expectations, it blew me away once again, and I absolutely adored the film. Completely, from the very opening, I absolutely loved it, and it got better in many ways towards the end of the film, even better and better. It's a wonderful film, very, very short, kind of very much so. A lot of his films are very short, and stuff, just around not even 90 minutes. This one, but wow, wonderful film here, beautiful coming of age story, and a love story, and just wonderful, themes. The way they're explored in this film, family and isolation, and just finding comfort, and stuff in relationships. He does this a lot in his films. Royal Tenenbaums, of course, was this, but it had more, quite a lot of different relationships. It's more of an ensemble, although this one's still definitely an ensemble. You've got Edward Norton, who plays basically the scout leader, and of course, the scouts that, of course, our main character of Sam was in. Of course, he's played by Jared Gilman, and of course, Susie is the girl who's played by Hayward, and basically, you've got there's different search parties. Frances McDormand and Bill Murray, of course, who's a regular of Wes Anderson, amazing actor, always enjoyable, and of course, they're the parents of Susie, and you see her family at the beginning, and you see how these two characters don't really fit in many ways, and of course, yes, they find comfort in their relationship, and they just want to be together and stuff, and the rest of the film is them kind of on the run, and basically these search parties, try and find them, on this kind of island, and it never feels anything but fully focused, because it's kind of very although it's basically an adventure film, it's a big scope, it's always very focused on this small community. That's what I love about the film as well, and of course every character has a role to play in the film, and once again, it's nothing, that really. It's very a film, that's very light at times, although immensely powerful and nostalgic. But it's very light. But wow, for me, this personally happens to be a masterpiece, because Wes Anderson is just in full control of every element here. Once again, maybe people think he doesn't do enough for his films to be called masterpieces, but I disagree. And it is comparable to some of Ozu films. If you've seen the Ozu films, just because of their light and they don't have typical drama that you'd find in quite a lot of films. Big drama in many regards. Although some of Ozu films, certainly are. But yes, it does not mean that they're not, some of the best films ever made. This is no exception. I do think it's certainly one of the best. Wow, the 2010s. I mean, absolutely. Just a beautiful film. Straight away as well, noticing, of course, you don't watch a Wes Anderson and not notice the visuals, because of course they are very, overt and stuff, and just wonderful once again. But yes, the nostalgic kind of colour palette that he uses in the film, the use of yellows and stuff, are really, really wonderful here. It's just wonderful. It adds a nostalgic element to the film, kind of recreating the time period. But then again, it's very, very kind of its own. It's not showing kind of a lot of stuff within society at that time. It's very, very much on this kind of island, very, very small, kind of film in many regards in that sense. But yes, it does feel like a period film as well, and it also feels like a fantasy film, like a lot of Wes Anderson's, of course. Surely are. Certainly, Grand Budapest, that felt very, very, kind of unique in that way, and fantastical and stuff, and romantic. And this one is no exception. Of course, the relationship between these two characters, Sam and Susie, it's just truly wonderful stuff. It's just, well, you can just describe it as just really, really true and honest, and just really, really heartfelt, of course, and just so warm and everything, so heartfelt, as I say. And yes, just the performances here. These are kind of actors, actresses, that definitely newcomers. I don't think they were in anything before this, really. And yes, brilliant performances. And once again, of course, just fitting the tone of the film, kind of the twee kind of feel that it has. Just like his other films, and stuff. But yes, just a very, very particular kind of comedy that never goes too far in the film. Quite subtle, but yeah, just in a way that you're certainly watching something is never really been done. It's a very particular kind of comedy that he uses in his films, and some people won't get the comedy, they won't, or they will get it, but they don't really think it's that funny. But I do. It's definitely hilarious moments at times, and stuff, and certainly early on, it's just in every sense, this film for me is just wonderful. It really is. Cinematography, the framing, once again immaculate. Of course, as I say, you're aware of everything because of the lens choices and stuff. Very, very extreme at times, but then again, it still feels wonderfully kind of subtle and kind of relaxed as well. Even within the cinematography, it's a lot of close-ups and kind of crash zooms and everything like this. But yeah, it doesn't intrude, even though he's doing all this kind of stuff, and some people could say it's flashy, but it doesn't ever take away from the story that he's telling, and that's what it is. It's just simply put a masterpiece, because in terms of storytelling, in every sense, including the visual storytelling, it's just immaculate. It really is something that he's trying to say something, and he's saying it, so that I can connect with every moment. Of course, it makes me feel, really just wonderful after seeing this. So heartfelt, just uplifting, and immensely powerful. And it's just his quiet moments, the conversations. The dialogue is just so good. It's witty. It's it's so great. The script and kind of bringing out these characters, all the exposition in the film. It's just genius, really, simply put, and very, very kind of natural and stuff. But again, as I say, very, very unique in a particular way, very charming, and just, it just mixes comedy with drama, and you could say melodrama, and just action scenes as well. You could say towards the end of the film, it's just a wonderful film. The adventure spirit that it has, combine that with the romance that the kind of love story that it is, and just as well showing this kind of coming of age story, how these two characters, Sam and Susie, and they're so well written singly, but then again together, they're even better, of course. And just showing how these characters, they kind of disconnect and stuff from society, and just wanting to do their own kind of thing, you know, not having to conform, you could say. But yeah, it's not done in a kind of you know, a really really rebellious way in many regards. It is just you know, simply put, a love story and stuff in that sense. And yes, you know, it's just everything that is present here. As I say, absolutely masterful, and it's so whimsical. You know, just a really wonderful sense of charm. I love the use of music throughout the film. Just really, especially as well in the action scenes, you know, towards the end, which is all amazing, and also hilarious. You know, the slapstick, the kind of the comic timing, and even, you know, Harvey Keitel's in the film. Again, someone who I really always, you know, look forward to seeing in the film, you know, and stuff, and because he's a great actor, very underrated, and unfortunately not in enough stuff, you know, as much as he should. It's great, of course. He has been in some Wes Andersons, and he was really great here, although a very very small role. But you know, even though some of these people have very small roles, it does serve the story. You know, nothing never takes away, it never sidetracks, and just a wonderful little film, you know, but that feels, you know, something that it covers so much. You know, you've got kind of so much kind of life, you know, energy in the film, and so much humanity, and yeah, combine that with this unique charm and very unique comedy, you know, and a kind of fantastical feel. And you have a full mark film from me. Not too much more to say about the film. I love the characters, the use of music, the cinematography, the editing, just all the comedy lands, and just once again, you know, I was told a story to a masterful degree, and just immersed me in this world, you know, and the locations, how kind of peaceful it was, and kind of spiritual it was, very very light, but still very very powerful, despite that. And of course, it gets 100%. Yes, some people will be kind of wondering, is that, you know, 100%? You know, but that's just me. You know, I think I connected to all of the film. It was a wonderful film, full of heart and kind of whimsy, and yeah, just beautiful stuff once again. And I do much prefer this to, say, Grand Budapest Hotel. Whether or not I prefer it to Royal Tenenbaums, you'll have to find out, of course. I know, yeah, in my mind what I prefer, I think. But yes, you know, this film is truly something else. So pretty good track record so far. 3 Wes Andersons, all of them great, you know, stuff. And yes, cannot wait to see more of these films. And this one just really blew me away. You know, I loved it. I loved how it was an adventure, a love story, just wonderful. You know, a warm feeling that I got from it throughout the entire film. Always entertaining. Everything worked visually, you know, in terms of the sound design and stuff. Just the way he captured the location, everything in the film. As I say, the acting is great, although, you know, it's not kind of big, demanding performances at times. It's very very subtle at times. A lot of the performances. You know, you've got just a wonderful end as well. I loved Bruce Willis in the film as the sheriff. I loved Edward Norton. He was great in the film. Quite a lot of people have very very small roles, but they don't really kind of feel lesser at all. And that's just because Wes Anderson always brings all these different, you know, small details and characters and stuff, you know, and serves them. You know, they all serve a purpose. Wonderful storytelling. Just a masterpiece for me, and I truly love this film. Definitely onto my list of I would say top 250 actually, you know, of all time at the moment. And yes, so it definitely is going to appear on the kind of 500 favourite films, probably anyway. You know, when I do that next year, as are, you know, a couple Wes Anderson films already. I've only seen 3, so cannot wait for the rest, of course, which will probably be definitely going to be doing one in the next month, you know, or so. And yeah, of course, love the film. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and yes, thanks for watching my review.